Okay, so I don't know about your feed and what you get concerning One Piece and all that, but for me, be it on Discord, on Instagram, on Twitter, and whatever, I often see these things of how strong is this character or this character versus that character and what we think. And literally just today I saw one which made me think and really question some things in One Piece, just about power scaling and all that. And so this video is going to be me doing some power scaling, but it won't be very definitive power scaling. It will just be ballpark power scaling, I would say. And the question that I saw was, how strong would Oden be if he was still alive today? Now, I will talk about that, but the greater question that this made me think about is not really how strong would Oden be, because that is very subjective. And I think the biggest factor that makes it subjective is just, is there a scheme in One Piece that dictates people's potential? That is the real question here. Because is there something where we can say that some people are born with more potential? I mean, if you watch, I don't know about you guys, but if you look at different manga and anime like Kuroko no Basket and Haikyuu, there is this thing where it's like they are the regular people, and the regular people can get as good as I don't know what, but their potential is always capped, is always limited at a certain point. And then you've got the talented people, and that's another scale on its own. The more talented, the even more talented, and they can go further on. And so the question is, do we have this scheme in One Piece? And I would say that we do not. It's never been given. And I would say that there are instances in the series where people can point to and argue for it, but I would argue against it and say that yes, but it's very subjective, because there's many things that go into how strong characters become, how strong they were in the past, how strong they are right now. And even though some people do look like they're training, I would argue to say that that doesn't mean that some of them, their potential is limited. Okay? For example, if we look at commanders, some people might say, okay, so why then are the commanders not Yonko level? I mean, they train, they practice. Katakuri, like, he's got so much diligence, so much focus. Why isn't he as strong as Big Mom? And I'll say that for commanders, well, almost all commanders, they are not really training to become the strongest, essentially. They've kind of left that strongest role to the Yonko themselves. And so all they're trying to do is make sure that their crew overall is the strongest, because that's the role of the commanders. The commanders are right-hand men to their leader. And so all they need to do is leave the toughest battles to their leader and make sure they can take care of everybody else. So they don't need to be as strong as their leader, but they just need to be strong to handle everybody else. And then maybe okay. So with that, I will just say that, yes, commanders are strong, but I think subconsciously for them, it's always at the back of their minds that they're not going to be the strongest. They'll never be the strongest, because they've already submitted to somebody else. And so that already limits their potential. So that has nothing to do with their innate born talent and saying that their talent only takes them so far. That has to do with their mindset and how far their mindset will take them in terms of their training. Okay. Look at the vice admirals. I mean, if you ask me why the vice admirals aren't as strong as the admirals, they're all trying to achieve justice, they're all trying to do their best, I would say that they possibly are. They possibly are, and some people it's just characters, some people it's also just powers. For example, if two people train as hard as each other and then one guy gets a devil fruit, obviously the devil fruit will play a factor in how strong somebody can get. Well, not actually how strong they can get, but how strong they can get within a certain amount of time. Okay, so I think it's the same thing with the admirals and the vice admirals and everyone obviously going down the ranks in the Marines. How strong you can get is also dependent on not only how hard you work, but also what powers you get. I mean, take most of the vice admirals, a lot of them don't have devil fruits from what we've seen. Of course, some do. You've got Onigumo, Dalmatian, and some others who do have devil fruits. But if you look at the admirals, especially people like the admirals that we had 2 years ago, all of them had Logia. It's only now when we're getting Paramnesia with Fujitora and all that, but a lot of them only had Logia. And I think, like, for example, take Momonga. Now, for Momonga, it's arguable how strong he is, but I think that Momonga is definitely one of the more prominent vice admirals. Whether he's strong or not is up for debate, but I would venture to say that he's the strongest vice admiral. If we're not including people like Garp and Zuru and Sengoku, those old people, if we're just saying like the younger ones, I would say he's the strongest. And I think that he's the strongest, and if he's the strongest, or if he's just like one of the more prominent ones, he's done that without a devil fruit. And think about it, if at this point we gave Momonga a Logia devil fruit, I'm pretty sure that he could make that jump to Admiral level in terms of power right now. If we gave him a Logia devil fruit, gave him a Logia devil fruit, let him train, he could make that jump. Potentially, he could. And so, for me, it's just a question of it's a thing of we don't have a system that says that you have this much potential, so you can only get this strong. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. Just because Oda hasn't explicitly said it or shown it, So it's up to us to be subjective about it, and that affects power scaling, okay? Because if we go back to what the argument is here, to this post about Oden, about how strong would Oden be, I think that's really about just how we view this whole topic of how strong can one person get. Because they are talented people, definitely, in One Piece. They are talented people. Like, people were just born naturally strong. Like Big Mom with her strength, with her iron body, balloon, whatever, I don't know what it's called. And I don't think that people like that, it hasn't been portrayed that they will always be stronger, but it's just been portrayed like they have a head start in terms of strength. Because if that was the case, that they will always be stronger, why are people like, Shanks, no devil fruit, born regular human, also on the same level as Big Mom? So I think that it's always an issue of, do you think there is this thing that makes people, that caps people's limit of strength that they can achieve? Or do you think that anyone can get as strong as long as they keep working hard? And so I think not only can you make this case for Oden, but I think this is the biggest thing in terms of power scaling Mihawk as well. And I think that I'd like to just mention these two and say what I think, because I personally don't know which one to believe. And so for now, I just leave my theories of strength in the fact that there isn't any. And that because there isn't any, our power scale saying that anyone can get as strong as they want as long as they keep training and working hard. And yeah, that's about it. If they keep on doing that, then they'll get as strong as they possibly can. Not possibly can, but as strong as, infinity and beyond. So that's why this video is a ballpark one, because I want to take both with this system existing in One Piece and without, since we don't know if it does. And so for Oden, first of all, I would like to say that it depends how strong, they were in the flashback. Because in the flashback, we don't know how strong they were. We knew they were strong, but we don't know exactly how strong in terms of people we've seen today. But I will say that I think Oden, if this system does exist, okay, obviously if this system doesn't exist, he'll be as strong as Kaido, or possibly even stronger than Kaido today. So that is a very obvious one. But if it doesn't exist, then I think Oden could possibly be around, I'd say, a level of the admirals, I think. Just judging from how strong he was back then, how strong, he got over the time he spent with Roger and Whitebeard, what he was capable of doing back then, the legends of Oden as a child. All that considered, I think that if we're going to put a limit on how strong Oden could get, then I'd say probably admirals. But also judging from the fact that he was also so talented even as a child, and he had that kind of head start, like I was saying, that he was talented, that he had a head start. he may also be level of the Yonkos if the system does not exist. That is Oden. That's so as far as that post and that question is concerned, that's Oden. Mihawk, on the other hand, is a more interesting one, and I think that Mihawk, if this system does not exist, then I think we need to look at, instead of just looking at the feats, look at everything that we do know. And we do know that a long time ago, him and Shanks were portrayed as equals. Portrayed. Not definitely portrayed. Portrayed as equals. And for me, in my head, judging by that, if both of them have been training to become stronger, then in my head, there's no reason why Mihawk should be weaker than Shanks right now. Also considering Shanks lost an arm and he had to spend some time getting used to fighting with one arm. So, and during that time, Mihawk was training. Mihawk wasn't just taking a break saying, I'll wait for you to, get stronger again. He kept training, he kept getting better. And so, in my head, considering that if there is no limit, if we're not putting a limit on how strong people can get, that system, it doesn't exist, if we say that, then why should Mihawk be weaker than Shanks right now? Unless the system does exist. So, and that's another thing. So if the system does exist and we're saying that Shanks is one of the people who is more talented, his potential is far beyond what Mihawk's is, then I would say that Mihawk should be around Admiral level. Somewhere there. Definitely maybe stronger than some, weaker than others, possibly stronger than all of them, but still in that same tier. Or maybe, I don't think weaker than all of them. I wouldn't say that. But somewhere in that level of strength. Why? I think that's just from everything we've seen on Mihawk, essentially. But anyway, guys, yeah, that's what I had. That's just a thought that came to my mind concerning power scaling. Be sure to leave your comments on anything you think. Do you think this system does exist? That is the main question. Do you think the system exists? And if so, how would you power scale Mihawk? How would you power scale Oden? If it does exist or if it doesn't exist, for both, please answer. And guys, please, as always, like the video. If you dislike the video, I would not encourage you to dislike the video. If you know someone who needs to hear the truth, please share this video with them. Conversations can get very toxic very quickly. So if you know somebody who's just that person, share this video with them. And as always, guys, I'll see you in the next one.